Hey guys, welcome to the Avant Novus live stream. This is Dan. I kind of had a disaster in the previous stream. There was a lot of technical stuff that kind of threw me. So I figured that I owe you guys another stream for today. This one is kind of a fun one. I've been experimenting with creating some realistic ocean depth with ArtRage. The reason I'm doing this is to kind of add a little bit more flair to the maps. And also for another reason, show you, it's kind of a cool little project we've been working on. And I'll get to show you that here later. Well, stay tuned. It'll blow your mind. So, if you'd like a little preview, there's an Easter egg on our island, on our website called avantnovus.com. If you go into the 3D printing portion of it, there's a little Easter egg. I'll see if you can find it. Let's get started. We're going to be using ArtRage today. This is just the general happiness of ArtRage. Let's go ahead and make sure we're happy there. Make sure we're not playing any monetized stuff. We're just going to get started. Going to be using our general pen settings. Make sure we have no anti-alias on. We have our trace on 40%. We're using an image from Google Earth 9%, and we're just going to get started here. Oop. We don't want smoothing. We want this rough and nasty. Nope, no smoothing. That's, well, maybe a little. Yeah. Gonna bump up the pressure. There we go. So we don't have to push too hard on our stylus. Gonna smooth this down to about a 4%. Right now we're working, let me show you what we're working on. Working at 11 inches wide, 8.5 inches tall with a 450 pixels per square inch. There's your resolution, so a little over 4K. We're using ArtRage 5. So also, the same technique will work with any version of ArtRage. Highly recommend 5, it's faster. It's as stable as any other ArtRage product. This video is not sponsored by anyone. This is my weapon of choice when it comes to cartography, because I was able to produce a realistic view of the map. You can see every hill, ocean, and everything else. We're going to just bust the landform out. It's important on this map to really pay attention to our landforms. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Good morning. Just cutting away some edges here. And again, we went out on Google Earth and just grabbed this image. I believe this image is from Lake Victoria in the African Rift. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's see, is it Sim Benin 2011? I hope I said that right, Sim Benin. Let me know. It's just kind of, there you go. There, everybody can see it well. Simba-E. Thank you so much for doing that for me. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Our previous stream on making 3D maps in SketchUp, we had a massive technical glitch, so we were really thrown. But we still kept that up on YouTube. It's not really what we wanted for our production. Production quality was meh. I was thrown on it and it was kind of a disaster, so we decided to do another live stream today. Oops, can't have that. We don't want that. Let's kind of increase the size of this. We want to really bust out the land shape really quick. We'll go in and edit it down. Just look Avant Novus on... Actually, let me grab a... Just grab the link for you right here. Pop it in chat. Let's see. Boink. There it is. We're just going to bust this landform out. Usually I'd like to go a little bit more detailed. Thank you, man. Yeah, it does. Hey, welcome to the live stream, Distributional. Good to see you, man. Just so everybody knows, we're on YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, Facebook. So if you're here with the stream, welcome. Glad you're here. Again, today we're using ArtRage, and we're going to be exploring, developing a technique on doing ocean depth with a 3D map. Well, with a, realistic map. We are going to be taking the data off this map and creating something pretty interesting. The guy in charge of miniatures and models, and I agree with him, we haven't adapted the process yet to something we can show, but we have a very special thing coming up soon. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Had someone in the chat, good juju and prayers, and man, I'm so sorry, Distributional. We had someone's partner get taken to the hospital with appendix stuff. That's scary. That is way scary when that stuff like that hits. Condolences. Yeah. Yeah. We've had some very close calls. Again, we're just busting out this landform really quick. We're just using a image from Google Earth to trace this. Man, I'm now distracted. It's okay, but Distributional, I'm so sorry. That's like bummer, dude. Man. Are they going to be okay? Are they still there? Or is your partner at home? Are they doing okay? Again, if you don't want to disclose stuff, that's cool too. Totally understand that. But again, we have a lot of chats open right now. We have viewers from Twitch, Facebook, and Mixer, so I'll try to keep on track of stuff because I want everybody to participate, since Avant Novus is a community and not just a crazy fat hairy dude making maps. Okay, let's just make something interesting over here. Then we'll start filling in stuff. Let's make a little patch here. Back down here. Yeah. I'm going to be placing some islands for this exercise. So we have some more depth that we can play with. All right. We're going to turn off the trace, start filling stuff in. Tools I'm using is a stylus. Oh, hey, man. Anything I can do. Thank you. I'm glad she's... I'm sorry she's at the hospital. I hope the little one's okay, so... Ooh. Very sorry about that. So, guys, distributional. Good juju. Anything you can do. I know people kind of make fun of thoughts and prayers and, you know, stuff like that, but I think it works. Stylus I'm using is a Wacom. It's actually one of their, it's the Intuos Pen and Touch. It's the smallest tablet, but for what I do, it really works actually quite well. Okay, we're now going to fill this. Here's my settings for my fill tool. We're only going to do the current layer that we just did, spread 9%, gap tolerance at 11 pixels. With ArtRage, it does a smart fill, meaning I don't have to go in and find every stupid little gap. It does process a little bit, but it makes my life a lot easier. Now, something you're seeing a lot of different colors here. That's because I'm using the trace feature of ArtRage. And it actually uses the color under it. Well, here, I'll show you. It uses these colors to fill in every little thing. So, all right. So we'll drop the opacity there. There we go. Then we'll, oops. Screwed up with that. Sorry about that, folks. Come in and we'll just manually do that one. Okay. Now we're going to lock this layer. Increase this to about, let's go 250. Again, that's 250 pixels. So that's like 900 pixels. The answer to that is yes and yes. I was a scenic artist for 20 years, a scenic designer and a artistic director for theater, television, movies, and stuff like that. I did that for 20 years. And we found that my wife and I could make even more money if I stayed home with the kids and made a bunch of little side businesses that I wanted to do. Ooh, where are we going with that? What's going on there? And we found that we could make a living and have, hell, the Control Z, thank you. Yeah, we found I could make more money staying at home with my children than we could me doing that in life. So that's what we're doing now, and it's been able for me to make a business with my best friend of like 15 years and bring in more friends and more friends and more friends. We make maps. We sell those on 3D drive-through RPG. We make models. We make miniatures. We do all kinds of crazy little projects. And it's good. I mean, we're living the dream. We kind of have a rule in our family that whoever does it best does it. So, yeah, it's work. Let's say there's a light direction menu. There is a light direction menu. What I usually do is just use the 45 degree. It's just the basic. It comes in from this side. I found it's the best. The default is the best. I did talk to some guys with ArtRage. You can change it quite a bit. Let's see. I don't know. I don't remember where it is. Well, yeah, thanks. Thank you very much, Simbini. All right. Let's go ahead, and what we're going to do now, we've locked this layer here. We're going to go to this layer. We're going to go to layer options, blend modes, and we're going to go to maximum on this layer. And we are just going to really quickly get our large tube and just go completely, totally nuts. on this. We're not going to do much with this layer in this exercise. We're just going to add as much mass as possible to this layer. Let's go something different. At this resolution, it kind of gets kind of crazy. So we just want to just add a ton of mass to this to get the highest possible amount of mass. If you're just joining the stream, ArtRage not only keeps track of the pixels and the color, and it keeps track of the material you're using. Right now, on tabletop.com. Yeah, I love how you can shape it in ArtRage. That's what we're doing right now. We're just adding, it keeps track of what material you're placing. We're placing a ton of glitter, the herpes of arts and crafts, because you make fun of it until you have to deal with it, and it doesn't go away once you have to deal with it. And then we're just going to go in with the presets. We're going to go down to All Hail Harsh Chaos. We're going to run that at 250%. Yeah, the demo is great. It is kind of a strong commitment with like a $70 commitment. There are some great sales, especially around holidays, so check those out. I don't know if they did a sale for St. Patty's Day. It might still be up. Go check that out. But, and again, I'm just kind of smoothing this out, nothing big. Since we are working on a very high resolution, things are slowing down. I do have 16 gigs of RAM on my computer with a 4 gig hard drive. 4 gig graphics card. There we go. If you really want to get some really cool functions of ArtRage, go check out the forums. It's really, really cool. Okay, that's good. And then we're just going to go in with maybe, just go in with a blur. We're going to finish this up really quick. Yeah, let's just leave it like that. We'll color it and come back to it. Going to go to our airbrush, put that at 500. Kind of make this dark, no metallic in it. Opacity up, pressure up. There we go, little circles. Yeah, completely agree with you. Distributional just said, Photoshop really does do some really fun stuff. Like any specific editing software does some really good stuff, but with ArtRage, if you're really into classical, like if you really use media to traditional media to make paintings, it is just absolutely amazing, and it is king at what it does. Well, thank you, Unlike Tabletop. Awesome. Let's direct some business to you. Is onlinetabletop.com, is that your business name? If you're cool with it, can I include it in a link in the video? We get about a couple hundred views to 1,000 views on this. Just maybe throw some business your way in network. Okay. So we got the top part here. We got it set on maximum. Now we're going to do the neat part underneath it. So we're going to go to the layer under it. We're going to get yield super hard, super big. Yeah, love to. Let's do that for you. Okay, and to remember it, we're just going to get some blue. Maybe, yeah, let's go with that blue. And we're just going to follow. There we go, just follow that in. Now, I'm not going to lock this layer. With me playing this, I was playing this with my iPad. This Sunday, I was just chilling, having a good, relaxing Sabbath, and I didn't lock my layer while I was playing like that. I should record this and upload it. Next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this same brush, and when I dab it on like that, you guys can kind of see it creates this mountainous thing. I'm just going to place it, just dab it like that, where there's islands and everything else. Then we'll come in with the glitter tool. How is Roll20? I primarily go through DriveThruRPG. Most of our maps and our products are exclusively through them. So any of our maps we release or any of our products are through them, but we've been looking to drive some more business and some more stuff. Except DriveThruRPG is really, really saturated with a lot of products, which is good. It creates a very competitive environment, which can be tough. Tough for the business owner, really good for the consumer. There we go. Get some more of this stuff on there. All right, so we got a very high peaks. Put that under there. You just have to specify with DriveThruRPG. You have to specify if you have an exclusive if you want to exclusively license through DriveThruRPG, or if it is a open license that you're selling it at other places. So we tried to sell it on like Nook and Kindle, but we found that they don't like selling PDFs. And our maps are like our standard maps are about 800 meg, because you can blow them up to about 8 feet by 6 feet, and those people get really nervous when you throw something that big. I'll check out Roll20. Okay, what I'm doing now, I'm going in at 250, and I'm slowly placing in circles yield glitter around the islands. As you can see, it's creating quite a bit of depth. So we're creating, quite a bit of depth, putting a lot of mass around where the landform is. As with ArtRage, it gives you an indication of how deep it is with the darkness of the material. There we go. All right. Next step, I'm going to reduce the pressure and I'm going to reduce the glitter size. Dungeons. We just did a video on creating 3D dungeons with SketchUp. Since it's a free version, I wouldn't ever create something with a free version, put it online, but I'll check out the dungeon thing. Get some ideas. Maybe if people are interested in that, maybe throw up a couple free stuff on the website. Yeah, no, completely agree with you there. Distributional world maps are intimidating. We had distributional say that world maps are an intimidating field for development, and scaling causes an inflation of bad data. Yeah, that's why one of the things we wanted to do is create maps that show every little detail. So with our maps, we cut it into pieces. We create an atlas. We create 4 different styles depending on how people want to play. But again, you're looking at file sizes. We do a PDF so you can really zoom in, and we try to keep it at a resolution. Our big maps, we keep a resolution of 650 pixels per square inch, so you can really get in there, but at the same time, it's still really difficult. Again, programs like Campaign Cartographer 3, you know, since it works with vector models, that's great, but in the same breath, that can be a little bit of a pain because the software is kind of hard to work with since it's based on Vectorworks. All right, again, I'm tracing with glitter. I'm pouring. Oh yeah, Wilder. Yeah, I get that. Sorry, I misinterpreted that. They're distributional. What I'm doing now is I'm just adding just mass, pulling away from the island into the sea, kind of creating some more scaling here. Oh, that's awesome. Online Tabletop tries to, with their products, they try to include tectonic plates, Headkey cells, ocean template flows, erosion. Yeah, no, that's great. As a as a big geek, I love that too. Ooh. Someone in Twitch just pointed out that have they improved how's customer service on Roll20? Apparently they had some business troubles in customer service. They were very aware on Reddit. Have they improved any of that, or that's always a pain? With Drive-Thru RPG, we good. Okay, so we've got this kind of filled it in. What we're going to do next is very, very, very lightly. We're going to go in with, let's see. Oh, where's my blur? Instant blur. We're going to turn this down. We're going to try to soften this up. We're going to go to about 150 because we really want to control the floor of this. And we're just going to let's go to 250. Whoops. Maybe a little more pressure. We're just going to pull some of this down, starting with the islands and moving down. This creates a bigger texture we can manipulate with our knife brush for the next step. So we're not dragging all this data around. But you can already see we're creating depth in the surface here. And again, this is pretty much a development. I wanted, instead of creating a style and a structure like I did with the overland maps, this video is basically me kind of having an idea of what I wanted to do, but creating something in real time so you guys can see how I develop my own little styles. Thank you so much. Glad you got ArtRage and glad you like it. I'm very... thank you. How do you pronounce your name? Is that Renee Wexler? I hope I didn't butcher that. I probably did. I apologize if I did. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go. What we're going to do now is kind of finalize some details on here before we really start getting into the process where we define this a little bit more. To do that, we're going to find the lowest point and we're just kind of eyeball it. I'm going to use a very, the lowest point, so I'm going to use a very hard brush. Again, we have no transparency on here. Actually, on second thought, we're going to turn on transparency because I don't want this to just tear out the bottom of this. Let's change we're going to go into canvas settings. We're going to canvas color. We're going to make this as dark blue just to show that we actually notice. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Let me go ahead and check on Twitch. Ooh, we got a problem there. Okay. Gonna have my little buddy hit that really quick and see what's going on there. Thank you for hitting that. Simbani, 2011, thank you for dropping by. Hope you have a great day, and thank you for giving me the heads up. Okay, let's get started. Again, I'm hitting the lowest point, putting pressure on this. Now, we have a little bridge right here that I like, so I'm going to back off on that. We have this little kind of high point. Gonna come over here. I kind of like these little ridges. I think I'm going to keep those. Maybe not. But maybe, again, this is our deepest part. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to decrease the size of this to about 60, reduce the pressure, up the softness, maybe a little more pressure. There we go. Just going to kind of expand this. Connect it, run these into in between stuff. Again, sky's the limit. You don't really have to go crazy, but have fun with it. Guys, thank you for such the nice comments. I'm really touched. I hope these videos help people. I hope they, I hope they really, people enjoy these. Sounds like a lot of people do, and I'm really quite touched. When I was growing up, we were, I don't want this to be a sob story because I don't think they're appropriate on YouTube. And that's just my 2 cents, but this was one of the ways I dealt with some hard times growing up and making maps and stuff and using imagination. And this is one of my coping methods. After being in entertainment for so long, I developed certain quirks, and this helped me with stuff like this. Really helps in life. Okay, what I've done, I've kind of made paths and a template of where I want. Actually, one more thing right here. Nope, no, too small. I've kind of made these little paths, and we're going to call them, I don't know, underwater rivers is the best thing I can describe. Like little canyons. Also, guys, if you're in the chat, please let me know if you have any like portfolios and stuff like that. That way I can post them in the videos, and I can post them in comments and stuff like that. Because, these are for everybody. If you're definitely in here participating, you're part of the video, and yeah, good times. Okay, so I made some underwater trenches. Let's call them that. I'm going to increase this to about 100. Let's go about 150. And maybe 200. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's perfect at 200. So I'm going to up the softness, put down the pressure, and I'm going to follow these again. And that's going to create a bigger canyon for me. I'm going to back off when I come to the landforms. You guys can kind of see I'm starting to get really cool hill effects. Well, trench effects, just cutting in there. Now, something that I've been starting to do is we've been creating these little adventure modules for our beta testers for our game. And for really close up like battles, like for the mini wargaming, for the miniature fights in armies and airships. Yeah, thank you, Renee. You can kind of see we've created these valleys of where things happen. I might do I'll do a video on that. Maybe Wednesday we'll do that. Kind of close-up videos for instances. And this is a really fun way to do that. But in this case, it's helping me define where the trenches are, where the deep parts of the waterways are. And also, I'm using this to kind of pull away from the islands. Oops. But again, I don't want to go too nuts with the islands. I want to stay away from the islands here. Stay away from the landforms. Use Google Earth for references. definitely, let's see, do I have one up? Let me see if I have a Google Earth up. I'm just going to pull that up really quick. Yeah, you guys can see what I... Whoops. Ah! Can't type. You can see my search history, which there's nothing bad. All right. So if we go to island, Canary Islands, you can kind of see what it kind of looks like. So we don't want to go too crazy. We kind of have this plateaus here. When we get into the bigger continents, there's a definite plateau, and it slinks off. So we're trying to kind of replicate that. Okay, very cool. At this point, because we kind of got some weird color things, we're going to recolor everything. And we're kind of going to go to a light gray. We're just going to recolor everything really quick to get a better idea. We're going to add our metallic paint in here. Forgot to do that. About 26% to really see the detail. Okay. Another process we want to do right now is we want to hide this layer. We want to come back to this layer right here. We want to select the negative space. I've turned off current layer, so we just get this layer. We hit Control I. Nope. Sorry. Control Shift I. We come back to our layer that we just did here. We get this layer active. We go to our hard out smudge. Oh no, I'm sorry. Blend. What we're trying to do right now is change the texture of the continents to not match. Flatten these suckers down so it doesn't match what we just did. So there's a big difference between the land and the ocean. And again, to do that, we go into the land layer, we select the negative space, we hit Control Shift I, we go back to our ocean layer, we use that, I guess you could call it for working with Photoshop, it'd be a screen or whatever they call it. Once we get it kind of flat, we're going to go into and we're just going to blur it out. Oh, sorry, couldn't see. Renee, I'm going to regard to real sources. All they're mapping right now is part of a continental shelf. I'm going to try to create a continental shelf and then create a different part of the ocean. Let's say we're looking at an area, going back to Google Earth. Maybe like that size, if that answers that question. And then we'll kind of go from there. But right now what we're doing is we're trying, oops, don't do too close. We'll fix that here later. There we go. All right, go to Control D that, exit out of that. So we kind of see a little bit better of what we're doing here. Now, to do the continent shelf, we're going to go in and kind of, again, we don't have any, we're going to unlock any layers here, any transparencies. And we're going to go in with let's go with an instant blur, but reduce the pressure like crazy. And again, this is a process and training. It's not a perfect technique. We're kind of making this up as we go a little bit. Kind of have a general idea after playing with the program. Kind of what I'm doing, but at the same time, this is kind of seeing how it works on a large scale. You can also see we could actually make some mountains and other textures from some of our other projects. We're reducing the layer of we're reducing the amount of texture here, and we're going to go smooth it out. So let's go with harsh chaos, put it to about 150. Zoom in on this. We'll start on our shelf right here. And we're going to work from the top of the shelf down. Don't worry about the color too much. We're going to go in and fix that. What we'll do is we will do the continental shelf. It's going to be rough at first. Then we'll go back in and clean this up. We are getting a little bit when it crosses into where the actual land is. It is causing kind of a 3D effect. That's fine. Just part of ArtRage. The way we get rid of that is we go through a process of blurring it. Once we're done blurring it, we go back with a knife and kind of clear it out. See that? The more we put the knife into it, the more flat it becomes. We're going to be using this knife quite a bit in different levels. And we want it to naturally blend together. I'm going to spend some time doing this. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you might want to skip forward a little bit to get the end result. If you're live in the stream, you guys rock. Really enjoying the conversation. Yeah, kind of something I'd like to add my 2 cents into with the commentary going on in the channel. When it comes to history, it is amazing. I know there's a lot of focus, especially with our audiences and also the current writing and everything else in fantasy, like in Europe. Well, some parts of Europe, especially in America, in England. England. I can't say I'm not English. But there is a focus of that European, that Hellenistic culture that was developed, and then that Victorian/token culture. But I was introduced quite by accident to ancient Chinese culture playing Dynasty Warriors, of all things. Don't cringe. I love that game. And then I went in and I first tried to read the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, went and got a condensed version, tried to read that, then went and got the footnotes version, tried to read that, and was okay with that. Then I went back and read other stuff. And there's just some amazing history, amazing other works out there. And there was history around the world that I'd never even encountered before. I think in America, when I was growing up, I'm 40, and 40 years ago, it was Cold War. It was like, go America, go us. If we get nuked, we'll be okay. And then it became more of a, let's all get along together and not nuke anybody, which was good. But we really focused, the history that I learned was a focus on, Western civilization. The civilization that I guess you could say was fought for in World War II. And I'll let you read into that what you want. But then going into Middle Eastern history, finding about the Byzantine Empire, the progressive science, how Islam added to that, the history of Northern Africa, Carthage, just made everything in the world come more alive. Okay. I've gone ahead now and I'm going in with my my gigantic a 500% brush, and I'm going over the continent shelves. And again, I've got this kind of getting a mountain effect. And I'm kind of fighting the same technique that I developed with... I'm finding that same technique we developed with our other map technique to make land. Okay? So the way I'm going to counter that is constantly going back with Harsh Chaos. But every iteration of it, I'm going back and then I'm reducing the pressure, going back and blurring it. And just try to flat everything out as possible. What we'll do very last is we'll go into this and we will elevate where the landform is, flatten it out, and then we'll come in and once we get the elevations done, we're going to actually flatten the ocean elevation and put it on a... We'll gather the data out of it because I'm going to use that for something special. But we're going to use that data, well, use that and then create a map out of this probably Friday. I might just do a time lapse and throw it on. But yeah, we're getting continental shelves there. Cool. So that's looking pretty good. I think I'm very happy with that. Let's go ahead and blur it one more time, see if there's anything else we need to do. Oh, I bet Carthage is awesome. Shame about it, though. But don't piss off your mercenaries. Recently, I read The Rise and Fall of the Roman Republic. That's scary. If you're in America, check that out. If you're right, left, conservative, liberal, check that out. Okay, so we've got our elevation of our continental shelf. Looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and I really need to develop a better technique of flattening that where the continent is. We'll get into that a little bit more. So what we're going to do next is we're going to come back into Harsh Chaos. Go about 100. Standard size, let's go to 250. Yeah, that's good. We're going to start in the lowest level, and we're just going to very slowly press. Come up these little strings, if you guys can see that. Now, we're not going to go too far up because it's going to start ruining some details. We're just going to drag our brush up there. If you want another really eye-opener, there is a... I don't remember the exact name of the book, but it's the history of the United States according to the people, or the history of the world according to the people, instead of, you know, the propaganda. I'll put it like that. I'm not an anarchist or anything, but it's very interesting. But yeah, I totally agree with you on the two-dimensional history thing. All right, we're in here. We're in here. We got some deep shadows there, but we really, really want those in this. All right. So we got some cool little ocean depth there. Now, just for grins, I'm going to change this brush to about 500. I'm going to come in with my mouse and go to the middle of these areas, and I'm just going to click it so I get really deep grooves. Oops, not there. See? I wanted to interact with that low layer of paint. create that really cool texture. Now I'm going to reduce it to about 100. Up in these areas, I'm going to make little tiny adjustments. So it looks like I'm going to pull from the land down. There we go. Help break up some of these shapes. How's this guy look? I think we're doing a pretty good job compared to the other video, the other tutorial. There we go. Cool. Very cool. Start painting this. I think we got a good thing there. Let's see if we can tweak this a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna select this. Control Shift I. Go back to our this layer. Gonna hit delete. I think that worked actually. I just went in and deleted all the data on the ocean so that anything under it was, we're gonna lock that transparency. So look at that. Yeah, there we go. Got a little highness there. Let's go ahead and see what we can do to fix that. Just drag eraser down through there. Same thing there. Go back to harsh chaos. There we go. There we go. Yeah, distributional, thank you so much for finding me. It's been great. It's been very, very great. And everybody, if I haven't talked to everybody here, welcome. I like developing this, I like to talk to people. I don't get out much because I have massive anxiety driving, but I love talking to people. Okay, let's define some of these a little bit more. We can do a little better on some of these. We have to stay far away from the islands though, because I don't want that three-dimensional. I don't want to create that kind of bubble effect. Probably if I took more time. See right here, yeah. Little stepchild of an island. I'm so sorry, little island. Always feel bad about those guys. Come in, reduce my pressure. Let's go 250. Yeah, too much. Nah, if it helps one person, I'm good with it. It's building. I mean, it's going to take time to build. We figured we're doing it anyways. Might as well just share it online if what we're doing. Okay, that looks a little better. What do you think, guys? Getting there? I think we need more detail. I think I need to take more time in getting this done. I am currently taking notes on the size of tool brushes I'm using, because that is very important with ArtRage. And also you have to remember another thing that I found out very early, and this is a super tip, okay? Make sure you remember your pixel size. One of the, I wouldn't call it, well, it's kind of a disadvantage with ArtRage. It doesn't show how many pixels you're modifying at a time. The way you have to find that out is you have to figure out how many pixels per square inch it is, and then use a percentile on it, okay? So how I do stuff is, the old notepad, I say project name, pixel size, brush size, and then let's say I'm at 150, let's say I'm 100%. That means I'm working at 5, I'm modifying that. 450. And then if I'm at 200, of course, that's going to equal 900 pixels, modify 900 pixels. All right, my chat just went down. Okay, it's back up, sorry. All right, let's go ahead and go in and color what we got. Let's go back and use this base color. Let's go up here and smooth these out. You guys kind of get the idea. I will be creating once I get this technique down pat, I'll be creating a definite how-to video. All right, now we are here. We're going to reduce this size to our shelves. Let's actually move this to a 250. We're going to put general colors down and then blend them for our shelves. Let's kind of not go, maybe that. There we go. Some of this I don't know if it needs color. You know what? Let's keep the continental shelf that color. I kind of like that. Let's make our darkest color. Let's go from top to bottom with this instead of... Yeah. Let me show you, let me do a quick demonstration of that. The metallic right here, it does feel a little plastic, I agree with you. If you want to reduce that plastic feel, I'm adding metallic paint. The metallic actually reacts more with the real-time lighting effect. If I keep my metallic, let's say I'm keeping my metallic at 100%. If I'm right here, let's go into this layer so I don't make, yeah, what the heck. Okay. You can notice it really reacts very violently. Well, not violently, but you can see it picks up all these little details and it goes out of control. If I reduce the metallic to 0, there is kind of a plastic feel to it right now because I have smoothed a lot of stuff out with that blur tool. If you notice down here, it gives a lot more of a matte effect. I found with the maps that I kind of use, about 23%. Actually, I'm glad you brought up that plastic look. A way to modify that is actually go into, once again, that glitter brush. For like these areas here. Let me zoom in and show you what I'm doing. I'm adding a little bit of texture to that. So it doesn't look like that. You can also reduce some of the other things like that. But I think, now that you mention it, I kind of like... I'm glad you did mention it. So let's try this on for size. I've turned down none of the metallic. I've turned down the metallic, so it's kind of a... What do you guys think of that? Then we'll go into those blurred areas, and we will rough those up so they don't look so plasticky. Because right now, since I went in with a blur, like down here, in this area, that looks fine. But like right here, yeah, I completely agree with you. That looks really... Let's actually reduce the pressure on that. Just kind of rough that up a little bit. I'm using the frost spots on this. Okay, it seems like it's reacting on the edges, so I'm going to stay away from the edges as much as possible. Maybe this step needs to come before I delete the other data. How's that look, guys? Is it still a little too plasticky? Lucas! Hello, my good friend. How are you, sir? Yeah, that's something I really like to do with something I found that's really cool with a very stylized map. Go into ArtRage and use there's a process where you take a style of another painting. Something we do on our big paintings is create some stylized maps. And we base them on other artworks. But how's that with the plastic? Is that little roughing up help with that plastic look of stuff? Maybe then go in with the harsh chaos. Maybe we'll just go in and just add some more. I think you're absolutely right there. I think that's really... Yep, you're getting another one, Lucas. The 3D map one I didn't like too much. And I think you guys deserve something better than that. I'm going to keep it up because it has some good ideas, but there was technical issues. There was half of chat didn't work, and Restream was down, and it was just bleh. How's that with the plastic, guys? We're kind of moving away from that. All right. Then I'm going to go in and recolor this. All right. So let's go ahead and go back to this darker color. Oh, oh. Let's get a good one. Something that blends well. Actually, I have some from our previous video. Nope. Nope, I want some dark. Yeah, we'll keep that. We can, of course, modify that. So those are lowest spots. Then we're going to go up to there. Going to drop the opacity and pressure. We're just going to pull, and I want a little metallic in this. Maybe 150. Maybe if I've added a little more. There we go. Maybe it's just an even distribution. I added more. I went up to about 15% of metallic in these next colors. Let's see if that pops the detail a little bit better. I think that's doing it. And again, I'm staying away from any of the really big. We'll just blend colors here and, you know, adjust the opacity as we go up. I think, like with any ArtRage thing, starting with big details and moving down to small details is going to always be the option, especially with one of these maps. And again, the style and the technique is to develop every, you know, you want to see every little nook, every little cranny. We're just going to run these colors up into the continent shelves. Just run them up these trenches. I think that's helping the detail. Just with a little more of the... Yeah, but the blending, I will definitely check out. I think you're absolutely right. I'll go into Photoshop, mess with the blending a little bit. Let's actually go about 250 with that. I'm going to go in and just kind of spike those a little bit better. There we go. There we go. So these trenches actually look like trenches with... Oh. It's too much. Then we'll go back in and color these. Something with ArtRage I really like is how your knife brushes actually mix stuff. Again, I'm using my mouse on this so I get a very precise effect every time. We're going to ignore this island down here because it looks butt ugly. And I don't like it anymore. Okay. All right, there we go. Yeah. Completely agree with you. Distributional. Oh, Renee, I love critiques. I will not. I worked in theater and film and scenic art for 20 years. So I thrive on critique. And it is definitely it is the best tool in my toolbox. So if you have a critique, please, please, please. I think we have a much better map with that critique. So please, 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 please. Lucas, yeah, please, if you'll, on Facebook, if you'll throw that link on Facebook, I'll include it with the description information with this video. Okay, we're going to go with a little lighter now, and we're now going to follow these trenches down. Let's go even a little bit lighter than that. Kind of blend these a little bit, highlight the detail. Let's actually increase the... There we go. When you're starting out on art, guys, you're going to find, or putting yourself out there, it's really hard actually putting yourself out onto the internet if you post something, and it's horribly scary. You're going to find two types of critiques. The one Renee gave is exactly what you want. It's a basis of opinion, it's a basis of perception, and it draws a direct comparison of... It draws exactly what the person's opinion is. It doesn't give a broad, like, oh, it's horrible, that doesn't look right. It says, it looks a little plasticky. And it gives a very distinct note to the critique. Now, a critique is something that will help you improve. As you get to the critique, as you start developing the critique, as you get people... Thank you, Lucas, for that. Seamless rock texture. That'd be very cool. That'd be very... You know what? We might try that here in a second. Let me get the coloring done, and then we can create another layer in this with a rocky pattern. We can actually do that in real time with ArtRage. Anyways, back to critiques and stuff like that. If you take critiques and use it as a tool, use it to refine what you're doing, you'll start to notice that your confidence of what you're doing goes up because you're using the critique and you're getting better and better and better. It also creates, if someone's offering a critique like that just happened in chat, and you say, okay, how does that look now? And they'll give you feedback like, that really didn't work. Or, oh, that's a lot better. You'll start seeing what you did and what you didn't do. And you'll start developing a really nice confidence, and that confidence will start leading you to take more critiques and more ways to grow as an artist. When that happens, you'll start developing a lot more self-confidence. You'll start developing abilities to frame yourself, to develop more skill sets, and you'll start to even grow more as an artist. Yes, on my tabletop, I can flatten the 3D to a flat paint and reduce some of the highlights. What I'd like to do really quick is I'm actually going to take this. Oh, how do I do this? Just a little bit of noise to this. Might take just a little time. Well, a little bit. It didn't help too much. Oh, let's see here. Okay. Everybody in chat, I'm going to give you a little preview of something. Okay. Please freak out when you see this. This is something that was buried in a forum. So hold on to your butts. Everybody knows what that is, right? That, my dear friends, is a height map. Now let's take it to the next level. But don't tell anybody I'm showing you this, because this is something we're currently working on. Yeah, that's what we're working on. This is one of the maps we didn't stream. So, that's coming up. But you can do that in ArtRage. Then you can go in and take this height map and really detail the crap out of that. So, shh, don't tell anybody. Okay. Let's, I hope someone watches this and freaks out about that. Yeah, Lucas gets it. No, that was not done in a tutorial. We're developing something very special. It's one of the reasons I'm doing a height map for the oceans too. We'll let you put together that. And we're actually going to, that's a preview of something in about a month we're going to show you. Let's just say we're taking this to the next level. We like really big maps, and we might have access to some equipment that prints out 4 feet by 4 feet 3D objects. There is not a free version of ZBrush, unfortunately. There is some Sculpsys. They offer that. ZBrush is a bear. Check out Mudbox, though. Yeah, we're making giant 3D printed maps and terrain for wargaming using, using ArtRage. But don't tell anybody. I'm kind of trusting you guys, so it's on the internet now, so enjoy. Okay, let's. What was I doing? Okay, texturing. Just playing. At this point, we're just playing with stuff. I think we've got a good idea on kind of what we're going for. Tools, options. You know what? Let's end that. Yeah, I know I did, but how to get it from one point to the other. Right now, it's taking us about 5 hours to take that height map, put the correct channels in, redefine texture layers, redefine the alpha, create a brush. Yeah, I have seen that. That's actually online tabletop. That is where we got the idea. We also got the idea from, we got a plugin for Photoshop that it looked really cool, and it used data from real world height maps, and I followed them on Twitter, the Tangram height mapper, but the plugin was not sufficient, so we started looking at creating other ones. Yeah, you put it in Photoshop and you can create some really cool 3D things. What we wanted to do, what we're trying to do, is not only create a height map, not only create it in 3D, but find a way to even make it... I don't feel bad about showing what we have planned for that, because there's 3 or 4 other steps that go even beyond that. It goes beyond even... Here, I'm going to just switch this over because I think we're done. What we're going to do with maps, it goes beyond even a 3D printed map. It goes beyond even... goes beyond a lot of stuff of what we're doing. It's just a matter of us getting a way to do it that doesn't take a couple days. Currently, we've... like, the process of our maps that we've done in ArtRage, that took us, you know, I've been playing with ArtRage for 3 years, doing projects, concept work, costume design, and then one day in a meeting I discovered, oh, I can make maps with it. Oh my gosh, check this out. We developed a way to do that in a quick and easy way. Currently with our maps, we can do that really quick and, you know, teach others to do that. With the 3D maps, we want to share that with everybody. I mean, we don't want to keep information for people designing stuff. That's not, honestly, that's not good for anybody, and I don't think that's what Avant Novus is about. We want you the tools to make your own stuff. But it's taken us a long time to actually develop something. The height map for creating a height map and channels is on the forums. That's not really a big secret or anything, but that's a forum thing on the ArtRage boards. There's also more stuff on the ArtRage boards you guys have to check out. It's amazing. But taking it to the next step, we're using software from Google Earth Professional. We're using software from SketchUp Pro. We're using software from ZBrush to develop ways to make worlds not only see, but interact with every nook, hollow, tree. Basically go for a world view, shrink it down, and create what you need for any adventure. We want to create a world that our community helps build. You know, like let's say Lucas creates something really cool. He puts it into the website. We add it into a map. That's his little portion of the world, and anybody can go in there and check it out and, you know, work with it and create adventures. That's kind of what we're going for with Avant Novus. You know, sales pitch, but that's where we're going. Question and answer time, really quick with chat. Anybody have any questions that I can answer about Avant Novus or what we do? Anything that you'd like to know? I really like this. This is cool. We got a lot of people in chat. We've got a lot of fun things going on. We actually have 12 people in chat from Facebook, Twitch, and Mixer, and YouTube. So again, really quick, fire around. I'll stay on for another maybe 5 minutes. I'm just going to piddle around with some other stuff. Fire away. Let's see if I have some other cool stuff to show you guys. This was our previous, I'll show you guys this really quick. This is our previous video making 3D maps. So if you guys got a chance to check that out, that was pretty fun. But I might have some other cool stuff to show you. Oh, thank you, online. A studio, we have actually, to be honest with you, we have 3 quote studios. We have one in my house. That's where I stream from. And I'd like to thank my family that I love for being kind of quiet for this extra stream. We also have a 3D printing studio where we have like, let's go back to live. We have a 3D printing studio at my partner's house. His name's Andrew. He's awesome. We have 2 STL printers. We have 3 3D printers, and then we have access to equipment at Adonis Bronze. There's a couple of videos where we make our own miniatures. You know, that's on a YouTube channel. And then we coordinate stuff online. We have a gigantic Google Drive. If you want storage, we're paying for a 5 terabyte drive for pennies. So that's awesome. Let's see. Next question. Facebook. Yeah, we're on Facebook. It's a good way to, everybody knows it. Everybody knows how to use it. It's kind of a special face, a special place. Let's see. Next question. Oh, thank you, online. Maybe I'll just kind of go with the SMR, whatever it's called. I never got into D&D. I was at my meeting. It just never took me. D&D's hit or miss. I saw it at a bookstore. I never got into it until I was, I think, 16, but it really sparked my imagination. And I understand the concept. I saw this is going to date me. In the early 80s, as a kid, I saw the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, and that just blew my mind. I mean, that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And so I made up my own little role-playing game, and I kept on working on it. It was really cool. I got into D&D and found it, you know, at that time it was second edition, advanced D&D second edition, and I jumped into that, and I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of information. And I found another system called Earth Dawn. It's made by FASA, the guys that did Shadowrun, and that just lit up my world, and that became what me and my friends played a lot. And we absolutely loved that. If you like a great setting, check out the Earth Dawn wiki. Let's see. Avant Novus. Avant Novus is a compilation of actually a French and a Latin. Avant, of course, avant-garde, avant nouveau. That means a new way, a new style, a different way. Novice or novice is Latin for to tell a story. So the two root words combined, since Latin is a dead language, it's almost more of a French interpretation into a little bit of English. It means a new way to tell a story or a new process of telling a story. And our process is to give people the tools necessary to create anything they want, instead of, you know, releasing 200 source books that cost you $40. Once we release our role-playing game, you buy it once. If we do new editions, it will always be updated. And that goes for any of our source materials. Okay. Ava means original. Novus. Yeah, Novus is story. Way to tell a story when attached to it. How many people are part of Ava Novus Done? Are they also critters? Yes. My business partner, he's named Andrew. We call him the Angry Foundryman. He has the last 15 years. He makes gigantic bronze statues. They actually do I have a video, check that out. He does the statues for Disney, Emmys, I believe he did the big dragon statue for Salt Lake Con, and a bunch of other stuff. When we started teaming up, we kind of joked that, hey, Andrew, you know, most people that make miniatures start out really small, but he's actually downsizing his miniatures from like 12, 13 feet to little tiny ones. So it's kind of fun. The other people is we have a editor, her name's Adi. We have another editor, her name's Amber. We have our guru, Josh. He's our resident narrator / game master. And we are bringing another couple people on. We all create, we all draw, we all kind of chip in. Tonight, we actually meet about 4 times a week, bring our stuff together, give project information. We beta test 4 or 5 times with our families and with our friends. And yeah, our biggest thing is we thought about advertising little things, but we're like, nah, let's not advertise stuff we don't really have a product for. Let's advertise stuff that we're actually doing. Okay, so right now we have about 6 people. We're looking probably to 8. Do you consider making tutorials giving texture to a pure grayscale height map? Would love to see that. Renee, that's a really great, I hope I'm saying your name right, Renee. That's a great idea. I was thinking about doing that, going into like Photoshop, taking up one of our height maps and like actually drawing it out, maybe using some different alpha channels, maybe take some real life textures from Google Earth, creating that alpha texture, going into Photoshop and creating that, and then using various methods in Photoshop to create some different 3D height maps. ASMR map making. Yes, now we're going to draw a nice hill and valley. And what's up on that hill? Well, it's your choice. Is that where a great battle took place? Maybe, you know, scratch. This is the peak of the hill and the water going down. Do you plan any attending upcoming cons as a business? You know, we've tried to get into a couple big cons, the one in Texas, but we just haven't had really the time or the capital to do that. But we are planning on it, but we just really want to have something to go to it instead of just a, hey, look at us, yay. We want to blow people's minds, and we've got some we got some fun stuff coming up. Again, what you're seeing on these streams is pretty much about a quarter of what I'm doing. A lot more of what I do is the actual game development, the math, the concept work, and the art direction behind it, and the setting. Andrew does all the miniatures, all the... Have I showed you guys some of those? I'm going to show you guys some of those. What the heck? Let's pull up Yield ZBrush. So we've already printed a bunch of these out. Let's see. This one's one of my favorites. This was the giant golem that we made. We actually printed out quite a bit. And we've made this in a bunch of different sizes. It has this face here to talk to its minions. Well, they don't know, like right in the middle of it, it's like all mechanical and it's abomination and stuff like that. So that's one of our miniatures. I designed that. Drew prints it out and makes it actually work. And just other stuff like that. All right. Do I tell Ben all the time? Coin cons. Let's see. All right. Okay, last call for questions, and then I will jump off. Maybe we'll do just on Mondays a tutorial video, and then a kind of a question and answer, stuff like that. I really like this. If you guys have anything you want me to post, RPG, Bill, it's actually been changing a lot. Of course it used to be fantasy, but it's changing into okay, a little background. When I was little, when I was in 8th grade, I got burned really, really bad. Spent 6 months in a burn ward. And I couldn't do anything, so my dad would come home, and he was raised on the old pulp magazines of Robert E. Howard and Lovecraft and stuff like that. So he'd read me those when I was trying to get better. So I was raised on Conan. I was raised on the old Tarzan books. I found my dad very much edited them, took out all that kind of racism stuff and some other stuff for a 13, 14-year-old. And that's where I really channeled my influence there. I then became a very big fan of steampunk, diesel punk, and that kind of mishmash. I think to answer your question, my preferred genre is sword and sorcery meets diesel punk. So big, larger than life, someone blasting holes through ships, pirates diving in, they having kinetic little shields that burst out steam and then going to town with maces and swords on the bad guys. Kind of Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind would be a very good description of that. Okay, next question. Oh, thank you, Bill. Yeah, that is my favorite genre. So sword and sorcery meets diesel punk. Danny, consider showcase of amateur work. Only with these tutorials. Pick up with manual. Distributional. I think I'm going to do that. I will set that up this week on our website. We will showcase people. If you guys would like to be a part of that, leave a comment on Facebook on this, where you're listening to this. Leave a comment. Just plop anything you want on there. If you're on Twitch, leave a comment on the videos. Wait, Leviathan. Which one's the Leviathan book series? Give me more information. And that's a good idea. Put your work on there. Put showcase stuff. I'll put it on the website, Twitch, put it on Twitter, link everything on there, and let's start building community. We got Bill, we got Distributional, we've got Renee, we've got Lucas here. Let's do it. Let's start it right now. We'll put it on Facebook, and we'll get going. I'll just put it on the website. If you'll put your links wherever you're watching that, I'll get something up. And you know what? Let's shoot for this Wednesday. This Wednesday, I'll get it up and running. We'll present it. We'll do a big release video, and we'll go with that. Throw up your links, throw up anything you want, and we'll showcase stuff. How does that sound? Yeah. Some people feel intimidated. Don't feel intimidated. Please, 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 please don't feel intimidated. We live in the internet. It takes you 5 minutes to learn something that would have taken hours and maybe days like 20 years ago. Don't feel intimidated. Put your stuff out. I think we'll have a rule on there, critiques. If you critique, you have to come back and offer how they've improved it and notice the ways they improved it. We'll do that. I will check that out. I will check out the Lucas. If you guys have any resources or anything you want people to check out, put it in there too. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So throw up your contact information in the comments. We'll create something and I'll get back to you. That sounds awesome. Let's do that. Okay. Everybody, thank you. This sounds really exciting. We'll throw something up. Also, 1 second. If you're on chat, throw me this. That is my email address, avantnovus@gmail.com. Email me your contact information. I won't share it with anybody. We'll put it on the website. Before I share anything with anybody, I will make sure that that is cool with you before I put it on our website or before I put it on Facebook. Right now, I'll just say this, NDA, I will not share anything you don't approve. Sound good? Okay, cool. Love, peace, and have a good day. This is awesome.